You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters. Welcome, fellow Stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Hi, Jude.
Hey, Sarah. How are you?
I don't know. This week coming up, bit of a seesaw week, you're saying. Episode 57, we're looking at Sunday, October 9th through Saturday, October 15th. There's a full moon. We start on a full moon this week of prognostication.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my mind around the fact that we're in October.
Almost mid-October.
Like, it's like
flying.
Get the fan out. It's just like the time is just clipping along.
Yeah. Yep.
And I do want to bring our listeners' attention to the fact that we are in eclipse season.
Yes.
So we are, on the 25th of October, we will be having an eclipse, and then we'll have another eclipse on November 8th. So we're within 6 weeks. So
yes.
We are feeling it now.
Yes.
But this full moon on the 9th is a heady one. And I can say that because it's a full moon in Aries. And it takes place right in the middle of Aries, 16 degrees, 32 minutes of Aries. And we can actually look up the Sabian for that. I hadn't thought of that.
We love our Sabian symbols.
But it's got the moon sextile Saturn. Okay. So there's some opportunities for really drilling down.
Okay.
Sextiles are always good. The moon's in a fire sign. Saturn's in an air sign, in Aquarius. So there might be ideas around advancement, trying to figure out a plan, maybe futuristic kinds of planning.
Okay.
But the moon opposes the sun always at a full moon. And the moon in this particular lunation also opposes Venus because Venus is in conjunction with the sun.
That's right. Riding with the sun.
In Libra. Yeah. And she moves into position later in the month where she's very close, where she's making a Cazimi, is called a conjunction. So she's under the rays of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, very powerful position for Venus in Libra, conjunct the sun in Libra, because it's her home.
Yeah.
Libra is the home of Venus. And so right now, she's just 3 degrees away at this full moon, as well as making a conjunction to the sun. Venus and the sun are making an opposition to Chiron and a very wide opposition to Eris.
Okay.
So the moon in Aries is in the middle of a sandwich between Chiron and Eris.
Okay.
Chiron on one side, Eris on the other. So both of these planets have, the centaur has a reputation of hurt, healing, the wounded healer, but also the being able to identify the places inside of us that need healing.
Yes.
And then conjunct the moon in Aries, which is so feisty, it's a fire moon, a fire sign moon, and then ruling the head.
Yeah.
And then Eris on the other side, trying to kind of drill down and unearth or kind of
stir up.
Yes, yeah. Stir up is the word. All of the stuff that might be lingering from any past hurts.
Yes. Yeah.
The moon is kind of it has this potential to be kind of, roughshod in Aries. It kind of rides roughshod over feelings. This is also at this time, Eris at 24 degrees, Aries is making a sextile to Mars at 22 degrees Gemini.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Mars in Gemini is I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but there's a lot of risk taking in traffic. People tend to jumping, or either jumping the light, or they're riding through a red light, or they're taking, the light has clearly changed. It's now yellow, and they're coming through.
I've had a lot of experience, people passing on a double line.
Yeah, just insane stuff. Because this risk taking, so Gemini is communication, it's traffic, it's movement, it's neighbors, it's kind of this chit-chatty out in the world kind of energy. It's also very curious. But with Mars there, it's taking additional risks.
Yep. Okay.
There might be a potential at the time of this full moon where the moon wants to go out on a limb because it's in Aries. It wants to initiate conversations or especially kind of intimate, deep conversations because the sun's over in relationship sign Libra. So this may be a time when one or another partner in a business or in a organization or in a relationship decides they want to have a heart-to-heart about all the things that they've been storing up inside that have been, churning around in there. Yep. So there is that potential. And I think it's so interesting that you drew the Five of
Swords. It's the five of swords. Yeah. Yes. Yep. We've got a figure in the foreground holding 3 swords. Then there's 2 swords at this person's feet, and then 2 figures in the background with their backs to the figure, one kind of walking away and the other with his head in his hands. And then there's just a choppy ocean and kind of choppy lightning-like clouds. Doesn't it inspire a lot of joy?
Not a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Well, the next day on October 10th, Mercury enters Libra. So this again kind of gives a little power to Mercury because it's new in Libra and it wants to smooth things out and make things right. So this is kind of a lingering, the effects of this moon might be lingering into a couple of days after. There's a couple of things happening on Tuesday, but the other thing that I wanted to just mention that's a kind of a big deal is that on Wednesday, Mars makes a square to Neptune.
On Wednesday?
Yes. So Mars is in Gemini. It squares Neptune in Pisces. And this is the cloud of confusion descending into the spokesperson. It's like trying to get so clear with your words, but then it all comes out and it's gibberish.
Okay.
And this is this is going to be ongoing because Neptune, it's backing up. It's at 23. It's going to be backing up, but then it's going to be moving forward and Mars will be backing up and then moving forward. So this is kind of a square that's going to be ongoing through the fall.
Okay.
So you might not trust what people say. There might be something that you find out later that isn't true, that was supposed to be true or was told to you to be true. And it creates a lot of confusion. It's almost like the spin of words that may or may not really mean anything.
Okay.
That's that potential for this square, which is, going to kind of jockey in and out of position throughout the fall.
Okay.
But getting back to Tuesday,
yes.
I mean, this is a big one. It kind of colors the week. And I wanted to mention it because it also, it's in play. It's just 2 days after this full moon.
Yeah.
So it's lining up, at the time of this full moon, which also gives the moon that whole dynamic of the opposition between the sun and the moon and Chiron and Eris and Venus. It gives it that extra like, oh, did I say that? I didn't mean that. Oh, is that how you understood it? I don't know how you could have understood that from what I said.
Oh, geez.
Just that kind of foggy, maybe passive aggressive kind of
exchange
situation.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a particular aspect happening Tuesday?
Tuesday, the sun trines Saturn and the sun quincunxes Uranus. So there's a sense that we can make steady progress. Saturn's in Aquarius, it's an air sign. The sun is in Libra, it's an air sign. So there's a sense that things are moving forward. It's a possibility of mending fences or establishing good relationships with authority, because Saturn is authority. So this might be the makeup time from the moon, from the full moon. Like if anything got kind of out of sorts with the full moon, you might have an opportunity on Tuesday to make up.
Okay.
Also, the sun quincunx Uranus. So there's a restlessness to the time to Tuesday. But that's also, the sun is in an air sign, Uranus is in Taurus. So there's this, maybe ideas are feeling a little ungrounded, even though you're getting ideas and you want to make them real. There's a sense right now that it's not possible. It's just go with the flow for that right now. Yeah. Wednesday, also Mercury opposes Jupiter. So there's like this sense of pushing the limits, overstimulation, Mercury moves into Libra, opposes Jupiter in Aries. There might be a little reverberation from a conversation on Sunday at the full moon.
Okay.
I can look up the Sabian really quick.
Yeah, why not?
Let me see here, 16 Aries. The Five of Swords is just such a sad card.
Yeah. It sort of makes me feel like, oh, why did it have to go that way? Like,
exactly.
Wasn't there a better way to get the ends? Like, the means don't always justify the ends kind of feeling. And then that figure in the background that has their head in their hands, and then this other figure's looking back, it almost feels like you were just saying, I probably should go apologize for how things just...
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Why did it go this way?
Yeah, exactly. There's a real need to kind of hold on to your mind, like really like watch your thoughts.
Yeah.
So this particular degree is 17 degrees Aries. And the keyword, this is from an astrological mandala by Dane Rudyard.
Yes.
This image is two dignified spinsters sitting in silence.
Ooh.
The keynote is the ability to transform a natural lack of potency into poise and inner serenity, which is kind of what we were just talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, okay, so transform a lack of potency, which is maybe, kind of the potency is this full moon.
Restlessness.
Kind of, yes, the bantering, the potential for banter and for hurt and for discord.
Yep.
So turning that into poise and inner serenity.
Yep. I can get that.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thursday, Venus makes a quincunx to Uranus. So Venus, quincunx Uranus, if you remember, the sun earlier in the week made a quincunx to Uranus.
Yes.
On Tuesday. So it's kind of like bumping it up a little bit in a more personal way. Venus, like, what do you value? What's your aesthetic? How cool could something be?
Yep.
If only it would be. And that's just Uranus is in Taurus, kind of like, well, it could be, but how would it be? And making that quincunx to Venus over in Libra, Venus has got all the ideas and Uranus wants to kind of make them, but then it's how to make them, how to do it. Yep. And that's where things are kind of like, this is in play at the full moon as well.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So even though these are rolling out in their exact aspect during the week, they're in orb on Sunday the 9th at the time of the full moon.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
Friday, Venus trine Saturn. If you remember earlier in the week, the sun trine Saturn on Tuesday. So everything that happened on Tuesday, the 11th, might be playing out on Thursday and Friday. There might be like a little repeat because Thursday, Venus quincunxes Uranus, and then Friday, Venus trine Saturn.
Got it. Yep.
So it's like, Venus is like all ready to go and wants to go out and party on Friday. But there might be, some odds and ends that have to be finished before like things get hopping.
Yep.
It might be also a time when there's a reassessment of social values. Like, what do your friends mean to you? Or what is it that you really want in a social exchange? Yep. Especially with Venus in Libra, it's very social. It's very accommodating, compromising, collaborative. And with trining Saturn, there might be some heavy issues about the future, Saturn and Aquarius, or maybe, differences of opinion in terms of how the future might unfold, or you're starting to see like differences.
Yep.
Because Saturn is looking at the boundaries of things. It might be a time of reassessment.
Yes.
At the end of the week with Venus quincunxing Uranus and then Venus trining Saturn. So it's just a time to just do a quiet like inventory of your social, emotional, even more personal relationships.
Sounds good. Anything for Saturday, or we can wrap it up there?
Well, there's nothing happening like serious on Saturday the 15th, but the moon is in Cancer and it squares Jupiter in Aries. So the moon was just part of this full moon picture. Whatever came up at the full moon might still be reverberating because the moon rules Cancer and Jupiter hasn't gone anywhere, still at the same degree. There just might be a little bit more leftover cleanup to do.
Okay.
On Saturday the 15th. We also wanted to talk about this awesome workshop that you're offering.
Yes, let's just throw that in for the last minute here. And it sounds like between Uranus being in Taurus and Venus and the Sun, a good time to think about finding your voice, articulating your feelings, those types of things. So one of those workshops that we're doing, it's part of a new collective called the Centered Heart Collective, and it is called Expressed Voice, Empowered Self. It's happening October 21st, 22nd, 23rd. It's a weekend voice and movement workshop to help unlock barriers to self-expression. That's kind of the thumbnail of it. You can visit the website. It's www.centeredheartcollective.com, and there's information there. And we'd love anybody who would like to join us. It's in person in the Southern Maine area. So just go to the website and you can check that out. We really hope that we can capitalize on some of this need to express or finding voice that's happening right now as things get stirred up.
Yes, it's a perfect time because you've got the Sun and you've got Venus in her home sign of Libra. And then Uranus is over in Taurus, which rules the throat and the voice.
Yeah.
And you've got the North Node right there. And this Mars in Gemini, you can use it for the good, right? You know, It doesn't have to be this kind of rash experience. You can take that energetic potential of all of the Gemini ideas and the forging, which is the Mars energy, forging of the ideas, and is into something that you can actually use and find self-value in, which is Venus. So
we would love to have people join us, and we're hoping to make it a regular offering throughout the year throughout North America. That's the Uranus grand plan that we want. We've capitalized with the evolutionary moving forward of the North Node, especially in this eclipse season, capturing the eclipse portal energy, which I know we're going to talk about more as we get into that. And we'll talk about more on our weekly call-in astrology show on WMPG 90.9 FM on Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can call in with those questions. You can also email us at connect@SisterStargazers.com. There's always so much to unpack. Jude, thank you for all these insights and aspects, and keep centered in our hearts moving into this week.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And keep a hold of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks to all our listeners. We'll talk to you again next week.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.